Hello, guys. How are you on today? It's an honor. We're back again. I am Nicola Smith Jackson. If you've never tuned in, and I'm an entrepreneur, and I have been in the industry of network marketing nearly a decade now. And I love the work, very passionate about helping people become entrepreneurs as well as helping them be in businesses that makes, the world just total better place. It's great to be extremely successful, but it's very important to be in businesses that do empower other people, allow other people opportunities to live the life that they deserve. And so I'm extremely excited to be here with one of my mentors, Dame DC Cordova. And I tell you, we have been together so often, more than even the entire time we've known each other in the last few weeks. And you are the reason. You're the reason we're coming to bring information from highly successful women on how you too can be successful. Of course, I know we'll be having gentlemen joining us always, but extremely important that you know that you can be empowered here. And so we're going to be talking about a lot of tips about business, even the industry I'm in, network marketing. I'm very excited to hear because DC has worked with some of the top network marketers in the entire world. And she's going to be bringing tips from the top from them. And I love it because I love to be in a place of learning myself, even though we've been extremely successful, but there's still a lot more to do, right? So I want to introduce to you Dame DC Cordova, where we're going to go into our conversation on today.
Hi, everyone. So nice to meet you. And I would like to ask all of you if you could please put your name and what business you're in on the chat room. Usually I'm used to seeing faces.
Yes.
Visual. And we, for many reasons, it's just the two of us that can be seen today. So if you could just put your name and what business you're in, because I can actually help out. If all of you work with Nicola, great. I can just stay focused on that. But if you have another business, that would be great. See if I can give you some tips. So I'm CEO of Excellerated Business Schools and the Money in You program. I was very, very young when I got started. I attended the first business school for entrepreneurs of its kind. There were no business schools. There were no programs for entrepreneurs. This was the late 70s. And I was young and I was eager. I had been in the legal field. I was literally retiring after being 8 years in that industry. And one of the things that I was looking for my life passion, for something that I could really be happy in. I was so unhappy. I was making a lot of money, having a lot of fun, but I was unhappy deep inside. So when I went looking I found this business school for entrepreneurs, and I didn't know that we were at the beginning of the financial literacy, all of the programs that you now see that are transformational in nature, and people have an opportunity to be able to add value to humanity, but also have a lot of profits and have an impact on humanity. We were just starting that. And I didn't know it was a brand new industry. So I've been doing this for nearly 40 years. And one of the things that occurred was that all of a sudden we started getting a lot of people that were in the network marketing, multi-level marketing industry. And then, of course, I went flying over there to find out why was it that they were bringing so many different people. And the thing is that we have a thing called the business success model, and it fits exactly in the way that your industry works. So through the years, I've been invited many times to join. I have joined many companies because all my friends call me up when I'm in the list of the top 10 people. And I always want to be supportive. And you need to know that we're the ones that are really the supportive one that send in the credit card and will buy products and services. And so my home, I'm now in my San Diego home. You've been seeing me at my sweetie's home on Maui. And so this is home in San Diego. If you were to walk in here, you would open up drawers and things, and you will find all kinds of different products and services that I really love. And then, of course, then we have the Nicola Jacksons that really are 21st century babes. I call them that. And they're beautiful. They're gorgeous. They have had lots of bumps in their lives, things that they really have had an opportunity to look at themselves and then realize that they really needed to be able to also add value to others and bring in education. So this is what we're going to do today. I'm going to go ahead and go into some distinctions that I have learned. And I know that if you don't argue with me, I would really like to ask you a big favor. When I was very young, and then later, even into my 40s, I learned by the time I was 50, that in my head, I would argue with people. And so what would happen would be, well, why are they talking about this? And they don't know my industry. They don't know what they're talking about. And they sound this, and I don't like her accent. I don't like the way she moves her hand, his hands. And what I would do is I would block the information. And I finally got that even the most boring, the most, the people that I didn't like, that there was something for me to learn from them. If somebody had put them in front of me and they had created tremendous results, and I have, you can Google me later. You can go to dccordova.com and look it up and go through all the links and see. You will find that I have been very, very blessed. But what I have done is that I have followed certain systems and tools. And if you say to yourself, oh, I know that one. Oh, I know that one. Oh, I know all about leverage. I know all about leverage. But you cannot afford right now to go anywhere in the world and fly whatever you want. You can sit in the back of the plane, or you can sit in the front of the plane. You can go to whatever hotel. You can stay in a little shack by the beach, or you can stay in a 5-star hotel. And if you're really splurging that weekend, you could even stay at the presidential suite if you wanted to. And you can go to just about any place on the planet where they have cabana boys, cabana girls, lie on a pool, raise your hand, and say, can I please have another daiquiri, please? A virgin daiquiri. They're bringing you towels, and you are now living the life. And the whole time that you are there, there's automatic money coming in, automatic money coming in, automatic money coming in. That you don't have to do much because you already set the systems in place. You already build your team. You have already gotten your leaders aligned. If you don't have that, you not yet understand leverage. You might understand it in your head. And this is the thing. My passion is to transform educational systems around the world and eradicate poverty and hunger. And what I want to do is I want to eradicate poverty, particularly all over the world, but particularly in the United States, because it looks like it is the wealthiest country. On paper, it is the wealthiest country on the planet. But there's so many people not doing well, as we all well know. So one of the things that I want to do is part of the challenge is that people don't understand the basic systems, even sometimes beautiful people like you. So the brain goes, oh yeah, I know what that is. I know what it is. Well, if you know, you need to put it to work. Why not? And that is what we're going to be talking about today.
That is extremely powerful. I remember that lesson of that chatter in the mind, and that helped me to be an intent listener at any time you're in a learning environment that you miss something. Even the moment when you're having that dialogue with yourself, you may miss that thing that would have been your breakthrough. Because I can't tell you how often I've been in trainings and you can sit for maybe even 20 hours or 2 days or 5 days in a training, but it was that one moment or maybe that one sentence or that one thing that changed everything. But if you were in a place where you felt that you had it all together, that would have been the exact thing that you missed. And so you're 100% right that even though I've heard you speak about some of the things you're talking about now, I've studied it even on my own. I've gone to the classes, but every time I'm in your presence and you start speaking, because even what you just talked about, our industry, network marketing, this is what we say is possible. And it is possible if you understand that leverage. And you may be in that process, or you may be just getting started with your process. And it's okay wherever you are. But at the end of the day, when we see describe, did you hear that description? Did you take in and was in the present with the imagery of saying the choices that you get when you understand leverage at the highest level? The choices that if you're taking the plane, that you're not the one having to search for 15 hours or 2 days, just only trying to find the lowest the lowest fare, not because you're trying to save money or be frugal, but because that's what you have to do. Or when you are actually going on vacation, or you want to, have experiences, right? Because that's what life is about, experiences. Are you having to always choose the lesser of the experience because that's the highest or the biggest amount of capacity? Or if you're on the beach, can you even be present to relax? Or do it take maybe a whole week for you to decompress, and only to know that just, 2 days later, you're going back into whatever that life is, being stressful, what have you. And then you're not having that money coming in, because when you go on vacation, so does your income generation, right? You want to ask yourself, are you in those places? And this is where I have learned a ton from the Money in You and the Business School Accelerated programs on the fear of leverage, and you get to learn it in such a way that it sticks with you, right? It's like you're going to experience it in the room, and it's going to stick with you to where that's not what you're going to be doing, it's who you're going to become. So I thank you again, DC, for even that, and I'm at full attention.
So let's just go back. I know right now we talked about that. Today we were going to talk about network marketing,
yes,
some of the secrets and all of that. So the secret is this, okay? And I mentioned this, by the way, for those of you that may not have seen some of the other Zoom links, and you make sure that you go to Nicola's page, and it's Success with Nicola, right? That's
successwithnicola.com. Go back. Mm-hmm.
And we also find you in Facebook.
That's right.
Find the Zoom links there to the ones that we have been doing. And some of it is repetitive, and it is repetitive on purpose. Like people say, oh my God, you're not going to be talking about the business success model again, are you? And I said, yes, I am going to talk about it until it becomes part of your DNA. And the reason is, and I want to show you very quickly, here's a copy of a little ebook, which is called Accelerated Business Success Model. And it's the Money and You series. These are little books. They're small books, because my godchildren tell me that people don't have the attention span anymore to do the big books, so they're small, but they have a lot of information. So what we're going to be doing in a few minutes, we're going to be putting up on the screen for those of you that have a video, that you'll be able to see it. For those of you that may be on the phone, later, if you would like to go ahead and email Nicola. And Nicola, what is your email again?
They're going to go to successwithnicola@gmail.com, successwithnicola@gmail.com.
So for those of you that would like to have a diagram of that, we can go ahead, just email us, and they'll forward it to me, and I'll send it to you, the diagram. But also, for those of you, we will definitely gift you the soft copy of the book, which has been updated again, and when you decide to attend Money and You. So one of the things that I want you to know is that whether you're in network marketing or you are in any business, the thing is that it's going to require for you to be masterful at the principles that make that particular industry great, okay? So I know the numbers game, and I'm going to be saying certain things that I don't want to offend Nicola or her leaders or anything. But this is the name of the game. The name of the game is that leaders are always looking for other leaders. It's just a natural. Whether, again, no matter what industry you're in, people will be looking. We are constantly looking. When you are a CEO, when you're a business owner, you're constantly looking for that person that is going to be really pliable and flexible in their mind, and they will have the opportunity to be able to just really take in the teachings. So that's, and I'm going to go back to the business success model, because that's part of mastery. That's part of learning from masters. And this is why at the beginning I was working with you in teaching you on how to learn, not only here with me, here in this particular webinar, but also when you are outside in the world. Like when you go to a big meeting, if you really want to do business and you want to really show up and be counted, be in that front row. Get there early, be in that front row, and move forward when the speaker is speaking, so that they think that you're paying a lot of attention, because that's what it looks like. But if you're in the back corner, which by the way, when we are in front of the room, I remember one time I was with thousands of people. I could still see way back there with my glasses when people were on the phone, when they were not paying attention to me. So when you have a room with as little as 300, 500, or maybe just 50 people, we see you when you blink. So if you want to be connected to the leader, you have to pay complete attention. And that's where it starts. It starts with your behavior from the beginning that you walk in, whether you're going to be there early. And I understand we're all late, and I understand we have children and we have to do all these things. But there are certain rules of the game in business that it is simply not acceptable. It's like I talk to a lot of men, and then women will come in late and they will say, I'm sorry that I'm late, but I had to go pick up my child. Da, 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 da. And what goes on in their heads, in many of the men, is like, I have children too. I'm a single father too. The days that only women take care of children are over. I mean, at least around the environments that I'm in around the world, okay? And so what happens is that it also shows almost like mismanagement of your activities, not of time. Remember, we already covered that in another place. You can't manage time, you can only manage activities. So it's like, how are you going to show up in the world? Are you really going to be a leader? This is when I have talked to the masters of masters, people in the Money in You program, especially in Singapore. It was around 92. The first time we went there, it was September 1992. By 93, 94, people were now bringing dozens of their top leaders in network marketing. And then I would ask them questions, because it was like, these people were making $100,000 a month, $500,000 a month. I mean, they were, and then of course later, we started meeting the $1 million earners. I mean, I remember meeting people in Melaleuca. I mean, an incredible amount of money, but they were the ones doing it, okay? They were the ones. And then I met a company called eCauseway. It's called Causeway. It's the most successful organization in Malaysia, in the Asia Pacific region. But they came out of Malaysia with a guy named Al Chua. And one of the things that he decided is that the earners, that he didn't call it that. When I met Al Chua, who is extremely wealthy, and I had an opportunity to ask him a lot of questions, he decided to go ahead and commit to people that they could make up to $150 a year, because these people had not been earning more than $30,000 a year their whole lives. So when you talk to them about making $50,000, $100,000 a month, of course they wanted to do it, but it didn't take long for them to hit the wall. So one of the things that they did, he began to get a sense of the people, and they found out that if they gave them a more palatable number, like 150,000, 175,000, which is an outrageous amount of money. When you think about it, it is in their currency, but it doesn't matter. That's their currency. So just think in US dollars in the United States. So they began to really be able to work on that number. And this is what we call in the Money and You system, deservability. What was their deservability level? So you need to figure out your deservability level. How much do you think you're worth? And there's nothing wrong with this. I really want you to get this, everyone. There's nothing wrong with you if your deservability level is very low. It comes from our schools. It comes from our parents, beautiful, beautiful parents. I have a beautiful mother that had a beautiful beauty salon, but we were middle class. So when I started reading, Think and Grow Rich and The Science of Getting Rich, then I go to a business school for millionaires, and then I start meeting millionaires, and then I start meeting all these people, and we all get in together. We used to do these exercises that we would all get together and chip in and go get one room at the plaza, okay? Or go into the most beautiful hotel in San Francisco and have an experience of total luxury as an exercise, right? Because we were expanding our ability to be able to bring in and our deservability level. So already you guys know, if you go to My Access to Cash, you download the book for $9.95, My Access to Cash. Where's that book? right here, My Access to Cash. It's a little tiny book, but on chapter 7, it is, you have the magical exercises. You have to do that so that the people that you're bringing in, you can let them know, I used to have this thought that making money was hard. And I'm telling you, the best people in this industry are people that actually work with the people mindset, but not just giving them like, oh, good, you know, we're going to go ahead and have these affirmations. We're going to be feeling, you know, really good. We're going to go rah, rah, rah. No, it was deeper. It was deeper, getting to the core, and just like, what were the most negative experiences you have had around money, finances, and divorces, and liens, and having your car towed away, having American Express take your money, being hit by the financial crisis in 2008. So when you feel yourself beginning to shake a little bit when I speak about these things, right underneath there's a decision or something that has happened. So the deservability level, no matter what people called it, there is something that you need to work with your people. It's not just going to happen. If you're going to just start looking for that clear person probably will have their own businesses. They will not be coming to your meeting. They will not be coming to you for help. So the minute that people give you a call, this is, again, I'm telling you, I'm going down to the core of what was taught to me and the research that I did. The minute that people give you that call, or they want to know more about your financial services, they're already asking for help. That's what they're saying. They're saying, I'm looking for something. I want to know whether this is going to match what I need. Now, this is a thing. Please forgive me, human beings. I'm going to offend every human being on the planet right now. So everybody ready so I don't offend you. Most people are not that smart. Take a deep breath. Most people are not that smart. They don't know what they want. They don't know what's really good for them. They don't know. They don't know. I mean, it's like my godchildren, you know, they grow up and of course they think they want this and they think they want that. And they, you know, and especially some of the boys, you know, as they get a little older, and it's like, well, Auntie DC, if I have a Porsche, you know, and I have my muscles and I have the money, I'm going to get the best looking chicks, you know, and it's like, totally get it. That's the stage that we go through in our 20s. So you also have to look at people's ages. You have to look at people's personalities. There's so much to look at. But once you understand that you need to guide people into success, that is your job. That is my job. So some people will say it. I mean, if you ask, and everybody will raise their hand, how many of you want to be successful? Yes. How many of you want to make $100,000 a month? Yes. How many of you want to, you know, and go through the little story that I told about going to the pool and having chichis and daiquiris, you know? Yes, yes, yes. But then there is the daily life. And so what we're managing now, what they really taught me was the managing the little things. So you got to listen to the other Zoom conversations, because I go into a whole thing about managing your activities by really, really seeing for 2 weeks what it is that you do every moment of your life, from the time you wake up until you go to sleep, for 2 weeks, so that you can really see whether you're really involved in income generating activities and whether you are involved in this thing called leverage. So what network marketing companies do is that they have a master. There's always a master. There's somebody that has found a formula, has found a system, and this is the other word, 3 misunderstood words all over the planet: leverage, systems, and love. Okay? So we'll talk about love maybe some other time. We should have a love webinar.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So,
yeah.
about systems. So there is a system. So you're learning from masters. So when you look at this, and then a little later we'll put up the page for you to see them all together. But it's really masters that you learn from masters. See, from at the very bottom, masters that you learn from masters. So the master has mastered something and has mastered a system. So they create a niche. That's where niches come from. So like, for instance, I was an avid learner of Kroc, McDonald's. And I had this thing about McDonald's, and it probably came from the fact when I was 15 years old, 16 years old, 17 years old, we used to drive down Santa Monica Boulevard in my car that took me 3 jobs to get, and my mom paid for half of it. I had this little falcon named Louie that I adore, and there would be 4 screaming teenagers in the car, and we each would chip in 25 cents for gasoline. It cost $1 for us to fill that tank, half of it, and go to the beach and come back. And I started noticing this McDonald's that started having these numbers on the number of hamburgers. And so we went in there one time, and we couldn't believe how bad the food was. It's like, how is it that people like this food? There were so many things we didn't understand. And then, of course, you know, we loved the French fries. They always had good French fries. So we would, and they were very, very inexpensive. So, you know, going to the beach, coming and going, I began to notice McDonald's. Long story short, my mother goes to Chile and gets all of this money for this beauty salon that she got. And I did some research and found out at the time that I could have bought a McDonald's franchise for something like $25,000. This was in 1966, around that time, 66, 67, something like that. They sent a beautiful brochure and all of the details, and we had the money. And I said to Mom, let's buy a McDonald's restaurant. I said, every time I go down the beach, you know, and I see it, you know, and every day, and the food is terrible. Maybe they will let us make better hamburgers. And the French fries are good, but they still have that number going up. I didn't know that I was an entrepreneur and that I was going to be given this model. And Mom says, no, you know, what are you talking about? We know about hair. To this day, Mom and I cannot say the word McDonald's because especially there were hardly any. So what happened was that they had a system, they had franchise. In my tummy, my intuition told me that it was a turnkey thing. And then we all know the McDonald's story. And then, of course, then I went and I'd read 3 major books, and there was a movie that my sweetie just told me about that I got to go and go watch. It's all about it. And it's a documentary about it. And when you look at a big company like that, it's the business success model. Masters, they learned from this little company in Pasadena, and then they bought this thing, and then they mastered this whole area. And then, of course, people copy, which is fine. So this whole industry. For those of you that weren't around the planet, there was a time when they were not Jack in the Boxes and McDonald's every other block. We went to little restaurants, little coffee shops. So now you have a niche. So your network marketing company has a niche that has already been created by someone. There's nothing for you to reinvent. No, McDonald's was not going to let me do my own hamburgers. The model has already been put on there. And people are beginning to get wealthy. This is the thing you need to look at a company. How I look at a company, how generous are they? Are people getting, so the people in McDonald's, the bag people, the potato people, the oil people, the people that did the shake things, they all got wealthy. The secretary got wealthy. I mean, at one point, Ray Kroc's secretary was one of the richest women in America. Because she was paid in shares. She was a retired woman that was bored to death, that became his #1 right-hand person assistant. And he said to her, you know, we don't have a lot of money. Can I pay you in shares? She says, sure, I'll take shares. I don't want to even tell you. It's all in the books. You can look it up. Now, what happens is that particular niche has already been provided for you. So this is where you need to really manage your mindset, that you're not arguing constantly with the owners. Oh, the product could be better. Oh, they could be doing this. Oh, my friend who's in this other network marketing company, they do this whole thing. So I'm not going to be here anymore. I'm going to go over there because they look like they're better. So now I'm going to offend you again. You don't know enough. You know, there's this famous line that every CEO on the planet loves, and they don't tell you this. Every leader on it. Okay, it's a great movie with Jack Nicholson. And the movie says, I don't pay you to think. I don't pay you to think. I want you to just do it. every one of us. This is our secret thought. When a bunch of CEOs get together, they tell the truth. It's like, we just want you to do until you earn your wings. Okay, this is the secret. You need to follow the system until you earn your wings. Once you earn your wings, then the secret is that you can play around with the marketing piece. That's where you get to go crazy. That's what I learned from the masters. It was like, where do people, I said, you can't suppress people. You can't suppress them because they are creative and innovative, and the best leaders and the best people have their own ideas. They're going to go and do their own thing. You're going to lose them. It says where we let them go crazy is in the marketing piece. It's where they can get creative. They can, as long as they follow the rules, they follow what the banner should look like. What can you put out? What is the legality? What can you say when you not can say? And if you really need to be able to read the fine print and ask a lot of questions. And all good network marketing companies have Q&A. It's the same question that gets asked over and over and over again. I have mentioned this in other Zooms, which is that there's only, in the whole world, there's only about 12 problems. And when it comes to money, there's only 5, period, period, period. There's not that many problems in the world. There's only a handful of them, a dozen at the most, and that's really stretching it. But so people have already asked the questions that you have. So another little offensive thing I learned a long time ago, and I'm still arguing with it. I heard it when I was 26 years old. You've never had an original thought. You've never had an original thought. I'm still trying to figure it out. The closest I ever came was in this definition of access to cash. Wealth is having access to cash, resources, network, investments, experts, knowledge, wisdom, and support. But that kind of came out of some amazing teachers, including Lynn Twist and Bucky Fuller. But my brain kind of came up with a new way of saying it. So it's kind of like an original thought. But that's it in all my years. And it's not that I'm not smart. It's just that the brain is just repeating. So what I want you, the secret is for you to repeat patterns of success. Okay? I'm going to repeat that just in case you were spacing out. The secret is to repeat patterns of success that others have proven. And don't argue about it yet. It could take 2 years, it could take 5 years, it could take 10 years. And the thing is, and the next talk that we're doing tomorrow is going to be how to get unstuck, because every human being gets stuck, and no matter what field you're in. And so what I want to do is, like, I don't want to go into a whole lot of conversation about that right now, but you need to know that really getting unstuck also requires for you to do some work on yourself. But I'm also going to show you some things, but that's not until tomorrow. So let me come back here. So what happens is that you now you're learning from a master, you're creating a niche, okay? Or they have created a niche, because this is also true if you want to be a solopreneur. You want to, by the way, there's no such thing as a solopreneur. What I meant by that, if you decide not to join a company and you want to start on your own, but then you have now the ability to be able to leverage that niche. And this is where the marketing piece comes in. And this is where you get to be creative within the confines of the rules of the game that have been given to you. And again, it's not cool to be a rule breaker when you're just getting started. One of the most dangerous things I have ever heard, and I really get really nervous when people say this, which is what is that statement, Nicola, the one that says, take action first and ask questions later, something like that?
Yeah, or do it first and ask for forgiveness later. Yeah, that's what they do that. Like, I'm just going to do it, and then they'll, catch me if you can kind of deal. Yeah.
Well, I just want you to know that I used to work in criminal courts every day in and day out. I watch people go to jail for that. Okay. Mm-hmm. I am very serious about this, folks, especially when you're dealing in certain industries. Okay. This is very serious. And so, no, you can do that as a little joke in small things. Yes, you can, but not in business.
That's right.
Not when you're dealing with people's monies, with people's lives, and things like that.
Mm.
They are laws against that. So, and I don't mean to, I am a really, really cool kid, okay? I just want you to know. It's like I'm not this square and none of that. It's like, I just want you to know that when it comes to you following policies and rules of the game, because when you are now you're leveraging to people through resources. That's why they ask you all the time to make a list of the top 10 people that you know, the top 20 people that you know. And we are supportive. You're beginning to fly, so you need little wind beneath your wings, and we're it. And we're happy to do that. I'm happy when my friends call me up and they said, I moved into this opportunity and then this is what I want to do. And it's like, now if they're doing it for the first time or the third time, I'm really good at it. By the time they're doing a new company, by the fifth time, then I have a very big talk with them.
Yeah.
Because now it has become an addiction. And let me tell you about this, the masters of share. By the way, I had a girlfriend whose name I can't tell you who it is, but she was one of the top producers in a company. And I spent a lot of time with her. She lived in a faraway land that I go to, and we used to spend time together. And I used to spend a lot of time watching her work on the phones with her top producers. And then she and I used to take breaks by the pool, and I was fascinated by her. And she's the one that used to tell me, you would be a friggin' billionaire in this industry because you're so good. But I'm in another industry, which is now I'm a humanitarian. I've moved on, and I've already set up my own system that I get, leverage, and it's automatic income. So through royalties, that's the way that you can do it through business. So one of the things that they share is that the leverage piece is that when you begin to get really creative and you get the resources and you begin to work with people, is all the things that I'm just sharing with you right now that you need to master. What personality style is a person? So in Money and You, we covered DISC. There's a woman by the name of Carol Dysart that Nicola can introduce you to, who is a master at this. And DISC stands for Driver, Influential, Steady. I like to say systems because steady people love systems. And then C for compliance. And then there's different combinations. So there is, my name is Doris del Carmen Cordova Michelle. That's why they call me Doris. But in the DISC, I'm also a DC. I'm a driver, and I also do compliance. This is why you're hearing me talk so much about compliance, because it is one of my patterns of success. When I go work with a master, I do exactly as they tell me. It took nearly 7 years for me to be with my mentor. I inherited all the work in 1985. Oh boy, was he a tough mentor, but best mentor. And he just taught me do exactly as I'm telling you what to do. And I did, but then in marketing, I was able to just really break out and in certain areas of the business. And I would ask, can I go run with this? And they would say, absolutely. So what happens is that in the leverage piece, the marketing piece is a piece that you really need to also be supported by masters, because there's 3 areas of entrepreneurship, or actually 4: sales and marketing, people and organization, money and finances, and your niche, your area of expertise. So if you're in network marketing, that has already been created for you. So sales and marketing systems have already been provided for you. People and organization systems have already been provided for you. They will give you manuals and manuals on how to deal with it. Does your company do that, Nicola?
Well, yeah, we have training. Absolutely. Training on specifics. If you do this, you will be successful. Absolutely.
Yes. And that's what you did, right? Let's talk about you for a few minutes. Tell me.
But in marketing, I was able to, spread my wings a little bit. And within, like you say, because, we learned about rules of the game. You have to know the rules of the game if you're going to play it at a high level. And so we were able to even be creative within the rules of the game. And those are things that I have expertise in, on why we continue to have the fastest growing teams in any company we've been in. Absolutely.
And so, and then just tell me a little bit more about leverage. When they told you, they gave you, just tell me a little bit. See, this is so great because I have not been prompted by Nicola. Okay, I have not. She and I have a completely different relationship. We don't talk about specifics of names of companies or anything. We're constantly talking about patterns and mindset and creating results together. So I actually don't know much about her business. So I'm just curious about your business. What are some of the guidelines that are given to you, like in leveraging?
Well, in leveraging, things that we can leverage is, of course, the marketing materials. We do get to leverage the marketing materials. Give me a little bit clearer when you were talking about leverage with the company. Clear up the question first. Clarify.
Do they tell you this is how you call a person? This is how you approach?
Oh, absolutely. The systems on the scripts is what we would use.
Yes.
But this is where I use the rules of the game.
Yes.
And I literally shortened the scripts because of the patterns that I know that people learn fast, because I want to move fast. So I went into the scripts, shortened them where people can remember them quickly, recite them quickly, the systems of how they can get support and make money, fast, so they can have a story very fast. I was able to, again, learn what we was given, and then was able to leverage it in a way where it's easily duplicatable.
So do people ask you these questions often, Nicola? Do people ask you personally and say, tell me the net of what you have done to be successful? Do people ask
all the time?
So
all the time.
That is good, because as a leader, those are the people that we get attracted to. So just so you know, everybody, people are constantly looking for that. They're constantly looking. They're looking for the ones that want to know more and want more details. And now Nicola just made a great sample of a driver personality. Okay, it's like fast and quick. Then there's the I's, the influential ones that love networking events. They love to go to all these different events. They will go 3 times a day, the breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They love it. They love people and hanging out and recruiting and doing that. That's the ideal scene for them. But then they are not good at systems and at completing things. So they have to have someone in their team. And this is what we're talking about, people and organization now. You have to have somebody in the team that you can call up or work with you so that they can fulfill the orders and fill up all the paperwork and follow all the rules. They will read the rules of the game. That's how you have to create teams of people. Not that everyone is going to be the driver or is going to be the one that goes to all the networking event. You also need to have the people in the back of the office that will also do some beautiful work, that will then work with you and be able to fulfill the orders and to follow up with all of the people that say, yes, I want to learn more. So the personality styles is another thing that's really important for you to know. And then the other one is how we take in information. And, we take information visually, like right now, for those of you that like to see things, that's only about 35% of the people. Auditorily, it's only 7% of the general public. Most people take in information, 52% of the world population take it in kinesthetically and talking and by stories. Tony Robbins was one of the people that we trained when he was only 23 years old, and I had an opportunity to spend a year with him. And one of the things he said about me, that I was the most natural speaker or talker of all the modalities. And I have a tendency to speak in stories and pictures. So kinesthetic people love it. They'll sit there and go, oh, here comes a story she's going to describe. And it's just the way my brain works. I didn't train myself, but some of you do need to train yourself to do that. So as you can see, human beings are very complicated, okay? We are very complicated. We all are. And then to make it even more difficult, and women do not get mad at me. Men are much more simpler than we are. Men are very, very simple human beings. They really are. There's just certain things that men need, and they're happy. They are happy. Women, as we're a little bit more complicated, and this is where our girlfriends come in handy, that we can call up, go shopping with, and go hang out with, because we have that tendency to make it a little bit more complicated. And it has to do with the fact that our brain, the emotional piece of our brain is larger than men. But the great thing about it is that we also get to have more pleasure, and we also get to live longer. So God was a woman. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm just saying that this is part of the process that you need to understand. How does the brain work? How does it really work? How do your people work? And the masters have that. So you have mastery, masters, you create a niche, you leverage that niche to the systems that they give you. Now you are creating an aligned team. And this is where leverage really comes in. An aligned team, a group of people that are going in the same direction. Like you're going to get together and you're going to figure out which direction you're going in together. The best of the best have shared with me, have confirmed this with me, and there's usually a higher purpose. This is really important for certain human beings, a higher purpose of being able to create financial freedom for people. Like right now in our world, especially in the United States world, but all over the world.
Yes.
Right now, we really need it here in the US is financial freedom. People are feeling so suppressed. That's what you're feeling. That's the anger. That's the rationality. That's people are allowing politicians to do whatever, to let them say the most stupid things, to allow for the most crazy stuff because they want some relief. That's what they want. They're going, okay, because they need an answer. And that answer is always financial freedom. Unless you're sick, then it's health. It depends on where you are, but most adults, professionals, is financial freedom what they want. And so once you set a system in place, whether you're in business for yourself, whether you're working with a beautiful network marketing company, or whether you are absolutely one of the most innovative human beings that has been able to set a whole system in place. And I'm going to answer some of the questions here in a minute. So this is really, you can put questions up. I see them coming in, but I want to focus on this.
You want to see? You want to wait?
I'm going to wait for just
okay.
And so one of the things that the systems that you put in place, and now we're going to go and we're going to create a thing called synergy. And synergy is now this thing that where you create unexpected and extraordinary results. And ultimate is the results that you create. And so people, what's going to happen is that start with small results. This is where the leaders of the company will then want to spend more time with you, will answer your phone calls. You show up to as many meetings as you can. You ask the questions, you go try it, you test it, and begin to have small wins, which turn into big wins.
I hope that everyone is taking this in the whole order of success. And I know it's so amazing on how going through the experiential learning, meaning the business school Excellerated and the Money and You, the experiential learning, meaning that when I'm listening, I am doing the business success model in network marketing because of coming through these courses and knowing what are the missing pieces to dynamic teams. One of the things that a lot of people struggle with is getting teams who are highly motivated to do great things because they struggle and say, well, my team isn't working, my team isn't doing anything because they don't have the business success model. But then also that one we just talked about with the synergy, where that no longer 1 + 1 = 2, that 1 + 1 can be 10. And that's what happens in our teams and why they expand so big, so fast, and where people are like, I love the leadership, I love, the people I work with and these things. Is because this model is definitely in place.
Yes.
And that is a huge distinction. And a lot of people don't see it, and they're wondering, what's the secret sauce? Well, we're bringing it to you, giving you an invitation to not only just be a spectator, to hear about it, a little bit of bits and pieces, but you're hearing from one of my top mentors, a master, showing you exactly what I do, right? And even with the niche of people who are faith-based or people who really love to help other people, and you're hearing and you're seeing the combination right now, right? Shame, of course, we're going to replay this, and we know people are going to be excited because so many people are saying, what is it? What is it? What is it? But because we were taught and we operate in a place of abundance, I'm bringing it to you unfiltered. We did not come with notes. I'm taking notes like in between, right? To make sure that even though I've heard this and I've experienced it, what have you, and I'm inviting you because we know that if a lot more people in the world had these distinctions, understood the rules to the game, were able to play by them, they understood systems, they understood all this that we're talking about, and of course, at the bottom, learning from masters, mentorship from masters. If you understood that, so many more things in life would be easy. And I want to point out something that you shared, DC, that when you were being mentored by a master, and how you said he was hard, and I saw how there was no bitterness to it. You embraced it. You say, you know what? I'm glad for that, right? And what people don't understand, even sometimes I'm hard, and I've gotten hard mentorship from you, I have this phenomenal mentor, Dr. Miles Monroe, he may his soul rest in peace. And majority of my mentors were stern, but that was for you to have full attention, be fully present, and taking on that opportunity that you would know, hey, if you go this way, you're going to get what you really want, which is success at the highest level. Your deservability is super increased, and you just have better results. If you go this way, we don't want you to go this way. That's the purpose of being mentors, so you can avoid the costly mistakes, whether sometimes it's costing you business partners, costing you your self-esteem, because a lot of people, when they're going through failure, if you don't have a mentor for them to understand, for you to understand that frustration or probation is part of success, then you would misconstrue what that is that you're going through, and that's where people quit and never really make it to where they're wanting to go. You understand that you can't even play the rules of the game until you know the rules. So people don't want to take time to understand what are the rules so they can play by them and win. So all I'm sharing is that, just in giving just some of the points, that when you have a ton of people, organization following this, yes, at the top you have synergy. It is magical. You'll see numbers jumping in your back office. Times I'll look up and be like, oh, millions of dollars in sales in weeks. And you're like, oh, what is that? Well, I know what it is. And we teach it, you hear it, it's now who I am. So when I'm teaching, it's going to come out. But you didn't get to experience what I did. So if you get it like I did, experience it by maybe coming to the Money and You. It's June 15th through the 18th. We know that it's just a week out for many people. And you may say, well, oh, I didn't plan for this. But my question is, haven't you been planning for your big breakthrough? The opportunity is showing up. And I would say, don't deny yourself of it, because I almost did. Why would I take in the middle of this? I just launched a new product. We're right in the middle of a challenge with my team. And I still accepted on the challenge because I want people to experience what I did, because it's the biggest missing piece, especially when you see leaders who believe they already know it all. And I say, wow, that was one of the biggest lessons of, that's a mistake, that when you think you know it all, you shut yourself off from learning, and then you can miss something that's going to take you to the next level. And now money is not something you have to think about. It's not something that is a concern for you, because the systems are like, it's coming in. And then now you're not fearful of loss, You know, it's a powerful place to be, to understand the business success model, and not only understand it, because if you understand it, you're doing it. And even with people saying, wow, you've had massive success. Now I am a speaker in demand in the industry, putting myself in places where I know had I not gone through the training, it's where you start attracting what it is. You're just going along and you're doing your business. And then you're getting opportunities that people would just only wish they could have the opportunity. And I'm saying this is the process. This is the way. The gateway is opening up. And even with that, we understand, I truly understand the mindset has that piece. We have been training on Carol Dweck, that psychologist that been, you know, #1 researcher in mindset and motivations, like what motivates people to take action past their fears, past their concerns. And if you have that fixed mindset where challenges and obstacles are just so difficult that you say, I can't see my way through, but this is your opportunity for transformation, to have that growth mindset where you can say, I welcome a challenge. Oh, this is what some things, you know, anything in the universe, anyone, whatever, trying to stop me from this, I welcome it. This is where I learn. This is where I up my game. This is where, you know, the growth mindset, where even when you, you know, see other people winning or being, you know, accelerating in their business, you're inspired by it. And then now you can attract other people where that's what they do, because you can never literally become or have that which you hate. You cannot. Like, if you're a person that you're saying it's going to be nearly impossible. So we're saying, hey, it doesn't matter where you are in your business, where you are in the process, that has nothing to do with where you could go. Has nothing to do with it. I mean, literally, I'm telling you, just years ago, I was in a transition and I'd already earned over $1 million in the network marketing industry. But because of my thought process that I knew it was more, I know I attracted DC at that event because there were leaders there, but I was hungry. Even though I was a speaker, I was hungry. And I knew that it was transition time for me, but I went out there, even to Dallas, Texas, not even fully understanding what I was going for. You know, those are the times that I run into my biggest blessings, when I don't know everything of why I'm doing everything. But just like DC said, when you continue to exercise this, you get this thing called intuition that comes to the highest power. Everyone has it. And sometimes it's that feeling in your belly. You might think like, I'm nervous, and that's when you need to move. That's when you need to, it's energy that's like conjuring up inside of you saying, it's just giving you that nudge to say, you're on the right track, keep moving. Fortunately for me, I know that, but unfortunately for many people, if they weren't taught, if you didn't hear this conversation, you would think that feeling meant stop. And that's what most people do. And that's why they never get to claim their spot at the top. And so, I'm like, everybody know my word, on 10. That's me, energy like high, 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 high. And I know that that equals very, very, very high results. But you got to hang around people like that for you to be able to start having that synergy. Because that energy thing is like contagious. If you're consistently in environments where energy is low and they have a very low understanding of what we talked about or described with the business success model, and they have very low understanding of it, then you won't have people who are learning from masters, and you won't have these, you know, the persons in the organization. You won't have leverage. You will have people deterring you from leverage, right? And trying to keep you where you are, where if you know that you're not leveraging if you only have a job, or you only are the sole responsible person for every dollar that you earn. You're not leveraging there, right? And then you won't have the opportunities for synergy. You won't be in a niche. You won't be, all these things just will not happen until you're in an environment to know them at a high level. It just won't. It just won't. Can't bump into it and keep piecemealing this jigsaw puzzle. And that's where a lot of mistakes happen, because you're emulating, right? because you don't know the true story. You don't know how to really, really implement. And that's what happens where people will watch something, just like you might even be watching here, and you might say, I've gotten enough. I know what they're talking about. I don't have to go to the course. I would highly beg to differ, because so much happens that you cannot just verbally communicate when you go through Money and You. So much happens. So much happened to me that I always have some words, and I still don't have all the words to describe. But where I know that transformation happened is where people, the response, the reaction to people, from people, when I'm in the room and when I actually put out, and I'm able to be 100% present and give my whole self. And very few people would be like, they couldn't do that. They'd be consistently distracted, can't be in the moment because they're so stressed out about what's happening next, or what's going to happen when I get home, or what's not happening at the end of the week, or what's not. It's that place that most people reside in their minds that makes it a constant struggle to do big things. And I know you want to. Yes, it's a process. It doesn't come big, always starts from a small seed. We get it. But that seed, I know for me, started with investing in myself. And when I see other people who invest in themselves and begin to have the deservability, like if I believe, if I'm going to be at the high level, I can invest in myself at a high level because I deserve it. I deserve it. I was in the class and I remember talking about deservability. And that was a deep place. That was a deep situation for me. That was some question that had to go so deep. And I could remember I was so grateful to have such a supportive team, where once I got down to the core of the place where people had tried to been stopping me and suppressing me like nearly all my life, and I felt free, and it was okay to know that you deserved way, way more. People are afraid to be able to say what they really want because they don't believe they can get it. And when you come into a place where it says you have a whole environment of why not? Why not you? As a matter of fact, elect yourself as you today. And then you can take a ton more of people with you. That has become now my purpose, my life work. And this is what I'm doing every day. You see me in my office. I'm in my home office here, but it wasn't always like that. I mean, I'm looking now, it's almost like close to 25 years I've been an entrepreneur, meaning that I couldn't eat whatever I didn't kill. Like I had to go out there and make money. If I didn't go out there, I wasn't making money, right? No one to say I never ever had a W-2 with my name on it. And that was okay, but it was extremely, extremely stressful at times, working 12, 14 hours for the day and knowing that if I don't show back up the following day, it didn't matter how tired I was, what have you, that meant that there was a deficit in money. Like there was a direct correlation to my efforts and money. And I did that for a while. Then we came into network marketing, and that gave me a different perspective, a different paradigm. But then I was still acting in my patterns of that same one business owner thought process. So I would, day and night, I adapted that 12 to 14 hours there, right? And it did well. But I realized that a lot of my team members didn't come from that work that hard for themselves, and it's not duplicatable because they weren't trained like I was, because the human capacity, it adapts to environments, it adapts. So I had adapted to that. So it was like nothing for me to work 12 hours and then go back and then do it again. It was like, because I broke past the glass ceilings of I couldn't, and I was doing that. And then I looked up, and it was like a little bit, a little less than 5 years ago. And I started saying, okay, how much longer can I do this like this? And if I had that question secretly, I said, well, what is my team thinking? And that question is something else. And you're probably here because you've been asking questions and now the answers are showing up, right? We have that type of power. So I was asking myself those questions, and then I said, okay, well, I'm going to have leverage. And I started leveraging speaking events and things like that. And that's how I ran into DC. The answer was there. And I'm saying I had part of the story, had part of it. But there was some huge disconnection. And this huge disconnection in the network marketing industry as a whole. That's why I'm committed to helping network marketers understand the whole business, because most of them don't treat it like a business. They feel like it's a hobby, and that's why it pays most of them like a hobby, because that's how you treat it. You get paid based off of what your perception is, because your perception will definitely directly correlate to what your effort would be that you put in. Then when we started realizing that the systems will make it easier for everyone, and everyone don't have to think, all they have to do is do. Did you hear that? They didn't have to think, they just do. And then they start getting results and they say, oh, wow. Because I don't know if you realize that it literally it takes more energy to think than it does to do, because you have to process, right? If you just make up your mind that you just do the system and leverage what's given to you and say, I'm just going to do it over and over and over and over until I see success. Most people never do that even for 90 days straight in the network marketing industry. To say, I'm going to work the system for 90 days to let this momentum pick up, or the power of compounding pick up, and all these things that are already laws that they work whether you want to believe them or not, then they don't see the success. And then they don't realize that now, you know, in the beginning, you building your foundation and everything, and then this number gets to this place and then it just like explodes. And that's when people notice you, by the way, when the explosion piece, they don't remember, you know, this piece. That's why I said people love lemonade, but they hate the taste of lemons. They don't like the process piece. They only want to remember what happens at the ending result. Like you're hearing DC, extremely, extremely sufficient financially. But in the prior Zooms, you got to go back and hear at the times where they had this game of, you know, I would want to say what I don't want you to know about me, when she tells her story. And you would say, me, I so appreciated it. But there are a lot of people in a fixed mindset that they're so worried about praise that they wouldn't dare want to share the story. But that's what qualifies you for the big success and can help other people through many things. And that's what qualifies you, because when a person hit that brick wall, you can say, oh, I've been through that brick wall, almost like the Wizard of Oz. Like, here, follow this is the yellow brick road. Like you can, I know exactly what to do when you get to this place. That's what we're talking about, the mastery.
Yes.
I've made it my business to master this industry. So no matter where a person gets, right? And they hit a position or a place, and then they say, I don't know where to go from here. And I can gladly say, I know what to do. I know how you can do this, and I know how you can do that. And then I say, but the only one thing I'm going to ask for you to do is to show someone else. You don't owe me anything. I don't need the praise. I just need to know you're going to show someone else. And that was another big distinction of being only in businesses where you were contributing something major to humanity. And some people would think that maybe network marketing, and it isn't, but I believe that free enterprise is a huge contribution to humanity, because people have been put in boxes and limitations forever. And then these same people have huge potential. And the bigger your potential, the bigger your frustration when you're inside of a box or when you are being contained. In the free enterprise, you get the opportunity to write your own check. And I always tell people, write it big. If you have the opportunity, write it big. But you gotta follow a master to know how to do that. And I'm not saying just listen to everything I say. I'm saying experience it for yourself. Money and You, June 15th through the 18th. Experience it for yourself. Guess what? I've made sure to position myself where money would never be my primary motivator to help anyone. If you don't come to Money and You, that wouldn't affect me financially in any way. It wouldn't affect DC financially in any way. But it can contribute to you. So therefore, when we're coming from a pure heart. We're coming from a place of, this is a gift for you. I know many people are not used to people giving them gifts. You've had to pay a lot of big prices and still not get the payoff, right? I know. I've been there. But when you change that deservability and you know the way for yourself, you don't have to ask permission for anyone. You don't have to ask permission to go to the top of your company. You don't have to wait. You go. And then you just, all I say, bring some more people with you. Bring some more people with you. And so we're going to be Atlanta, June 15th through the 18th, right at the airport. So even if you're listening, you're coming in from a different city or state, take advantage of what we're going to offer you. The word advantage, meaning a leg up, meaning putting you in a better position than you are now. You want to utilize that opportunity to take advantage of what we're going to offer you, you know? So DC pours out so much. I'm like, oh my Lord, I'm sitting here so grateful because I get to get sharpened. You know, when you become a top leader in your everyday environment is where you're having to put out and put out, you always have to get the opportunity to get poured back into. And the great thing about Money and You is once you enroll one time, you can attend anywhere in the world as often as you like. It's a one-time pass to a work that has been creating global leaders for nearly 40 years. Can you imagine your network? What happens when you're looking like you're saying you're top 10, you're saying top 10 and people are supportive? What are you talking about, DC? I can't get my top 2. I can't get 2 people to say yes to me. Well, because there's some missing pieces that you have to learn, that you have to develop. And you're not going to learn it where you are. I tried. And so, DC, I don't know what you want to share and offer. We're going to actually put this one here, put it out on Facebook and put it in YouTube so people can hear it. So when if you're here, I know it's lunchtime Friday, people are all scattered, but we know that we're going to put it out there where people could watch it and glean from this important information, because very few people in network marketing, even at a high level, understand the business side of it. They understand the production, they understand building team and organization, but the entire success business model, they don't understand that. Most of them have not been taught that, not in that fashion, that it will work now, not only in network marketing, but any business, right? DC, any business. When you go to Money and You, you're gonna meet people from all sorts of businesses and backgrounds using the same model, but a common denominator is that they're rising to the top. They're the cream of the crop in their industries and what they're doing. And that's why, you know, even when DC and I talk, we don't have to talk specifics of, oh, it's my company, always whatever. Would you love to get to that place where you don't have to feel hungry and thirsty, that, oh, you know, I got to sell you, I got to whatever. We have more than enough, and continue every single day. While I'm talking to you right now, people are enrolling. It's a powerful place to be. You deserve that. You deserve it. Yep. You deserve it. So DC, what would you like to share? I mean, June 15th through the 18th, we're going to be Money and You. You can go to moneyandyou.com, press attend. But if you want a scholarship, we're winding down. And of course, we want more people to experience this, right? We are here wanting humanity to just be better. So you can go to moneyandyou.com and click attend first, and then you can email successwithnicola@gmail.com and say, I want a scholarship, Nicola. I want a scholarship. DC, what would you like to share?
Well, I was just going to say that I wanted you to show for 1 minute, if we can do the screen share
Sure.
of the business success model. And again, if they can just send, successwithnicola@gmail.com. And if they can just go ahead and we can send you this graphic that you can have. And what I love for you to do is to put it on your refrigerator door or in your bathroom mirror that you can look at and take a look at where you are. And please watch the other Zooms, especially the ones when we really got into a conversation about money. We were talking about whether you're in the process of making the money, keeping the money, or growing the money. And so what I wanted you to do is to really take a look at we thank you, that's perfect. Yeah, that's it. So right there, you see it, the master's niche, leverage through systems, aligned team synergy results. And then on the top, we put money, but it could be contribution, could be anything that you want it to be. But one of the best things for you to remember is that one of the patterns of success is to make decisions very quickly. And what most people do is that they wait for it to be convenient or whatever. So, we're going to be around for hundreds of years, if not thousands of years. We are in Southern California only twice a year, and that's because my whole model is leveraged and it's in the Asia Pacific region. So, this is a one-time only that we're coming to Atlanta as of right now. There could be others, but we don't know. Nicola is very, very busy. She just wants to bring this to her peeps and get together there. If not, you'll have to come back to California later in the year. And it's much more expensive that way. And we won't have the scholarship prices that we have extended to her. And as you can see, she's one of our great supporters and graduate of our programs that really practices this. But the biggest thing is that one of the patterns of success that very successful people have is that when they see an opportunity, they go for it. And I'll tell a very quick story here. In the 1984, I had the opportunity to sit down with Fidel Castro with a group of 5 people. And it's such a long story. And one of these days I'm going to record it because it's so fascinating. But we didn't know that we were going to get to go see him until literally 24 hours before we got on the plane to go and be with them. Because it was an opportunity through the United Nations, and it was through a gentleman that had saved the Cuban sugar industry. But I had been working on this for a couple of years. And what I did was I was completely prepared for it. I knew what I kept preparing for it. I was preparing for success. And one of the reasons was because I made up that I was going to meet Fidel Castro to test the principles that you learn in personal development and in books like Think and Grow Rich and, it's like Science of Getting Rich, and these books that were the classic metaphysical ones and what they now call the law of attraction. The law of attraction has been around. You can study the Bible and see certain wealth principles that are there. There are books completely dedicated to that. And what I did was I actually decided to test the principles because I was so young and I had just started working on myself only a few years earlier. So I picked the most amazing, outrageous, totally unattainable goal, which was to meet the guy that everybody hated on the planet, Fidel Castro, who I just made it up. And so what happened was, but I began to put all the principles to work that I had learned, including preparing for it and all of that. And I remember that I literally had a banker's box full of books that I would put books in there that I had wanted to give to him. And I had already bought the dress that I was going to wear. I did all this research and found out that his beloved had died only, actually when I did the research, she had just died. By the time we got there, she had died 18 months earlier. And so what happened was that I dressed as if though for a funeral because I understood NLP so well. And I wore this shawl. It was a very Latin, this little flowery black dress with little flowers, and the shawl where he was in mourning, so he would be attracted to someone that looked like they were in mourning. It was the most amazing exercise for me. And when I was sitting across from him and he kept canceling trips, there were 5 of us in the room, canceling appointments. We were going to be with him for half an hour. Margaret Thatcher, the lead, the prime minister of England, got half an hour with the guy. We got 3 hours. Then he threw a party for us. And then he brought 13 of his top educators for me to educate in left and right brain teaching techniques. All of this has been documented by the US government. All of this, there's no secrets. They tapped my phone for 2 years, and I just kept telling the story over and over again. And it has been confirmed by friends of mine that have checked me at government levels that actually that information is all there. So I knew what was happening. I went in a peace mission. This is a totally, it was an amazing peace mission. And what I realized was that I had been totally preparing for it. But when it happened, I only had 24 hours to prepare, to have everything ready, to buy the ticket. I had my passport ready to go, and I was completely prepared. So that was one example where I had preparation. Then there has been other times when people have called me up and said, right now we have this opportunity where you will get to meet blah, blah, blah. And we have only a few days time. There is somebody canceled, somebody changed their mind, this particular seat is available. It's going to cost this much. Usually it's a lot of money. And so are you ready? And I literally, there's a part of me that has money set aside for opportunities like this. And then just everything has changed. When people say, I can't be there, I cannot do it because of this, I cannot do it because of that, you need to understand that that is kind of like something that very successful people, when they see that they need to do or handle something. And another one was, I got a call at the last minute, and I had the most busy day in the whole world for me to meet Bill Clinton. It was during the election, and we knew that it was a fundraiser here in La Jolla in San Diego. And I had the most massive day, but I had always wanted to meet him for a lot of reasons. One of them was that I saw him speak live in Singapore, and I had never, ever, ever met anyone that was more charismatic than him when he spoke to like 6,000 people and just seduced the whole room all at once with this little story that he told at the beginning. And I was just curious what he would be like in a room with only like 50 people. And I knew I would get to meet him, and I did, of course. And so I changed everything. Wrote the big check, got there, private meeting. We had to wait 4 hours because apparently he always runs late. But it was so interesting to be in his presence because he is one, to this day, he's still one of the most powerful leaders on the planet. And a lot of times I like to be around them. I have a fascination with world leaders because of how interesting they are. I want to be really close so that I can see their patterns of thinking, how they talk, how they are. And all of them, I have to say, are not only charismatic, not only intelligent, but they're very, very present. Very present. They're right there with you. Fidel Castro was that way. The Tun Mahathir, the Prime Minister of Malaysia, was that way. You know, Bill Clinton was that way. Dato Masna Hamid is that way. She's one of the biggest leaders in Malaysia. My mentor and teacher, Janny Chan, her name now, the co-founder of the Hourglass, one of the biggest jewelry companies that took Rolex to Asia and put it on the planet for you to be able to afford a watch the way that only very rich people could now. She changed that whole paradigm. She created that for the whole world. Same thing. So what you want to do is you want to come along and learn patterns of success. I will not be teaching. And sometimes people think that I teach Money and You. It's too hard. It's too much work. 3.5 days. But my
She's amazing.
Oh, they're so amazing. But I will be in the back of the room, we'll run for breaks, we'll dance together, we'll talk together, you get to know me. There's not that many money and use that I go to, but in America, I try to go to them. I don't know if I'll be there for the next one, if we decide to do one, because I'm a busy, busy bee. But what I want you to do is come along, hang out with us, and we will do our best to transfer to you and to share with you more and more patterns of success through the business success model experientially.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Join us.
And an opportunity to spend time with the master. You get that opportunity June 15th through the 18th. You guys understand why I always say, oh my Lord, I feel so blessed. Absolutely. And I'm allowing you to say, come on, come and meet my mentor. And we have a ton of fun. I'm looking forward to that part too. We have a ton of fun. So we're excited to see you. When we go ahead and give the link, go ahead and tag and share, because I noticed that people stayed on. And again, if you want the document here, did we want to, we'll get that to you, Success with Nicola.
Yeah, email them. And then
yes, successwithnicola@gmail.com, and let us know you want the graphic of the business success model. Would you like me to send them the entire book, the 112 pages, or just one, the page, front page?
For those that do register into Money and You, when I get the registration, I will email them the soft copy of the book.
Okay, absolutely. So with your registration, you'll get the entire book. So with the interest, you will get the diagram here. Okay,
yeah.
And so
for those that have already registered, because one of the things I love is that I love the people that have already registered and come along and hang out with us.
Yes.
I will send it to the whole class. So
yes.
Missing out. If you're already registered, I will send it to you too. So it's just a little gift. You know, these I think people say, how come you don't have 50 books? Because it's really hard to write books. It took me months to do this little book that I'm telling you, it's not easy. And it's also what happens is that I'm a busy bee. I have, I am expanding, I have a partner that's a billionaire with heart that's saving the planet, making sure that the planet goes green, solarvalleychina.com. Go in there and look. I'm on my way to Money and You, and I get up at 4 in the morning after Money and You and go to a thing called ourday.net, which is the most influential people that we're going to be learning about renewables and how to make the world work, a brand new, by the way, industry. And somebody's going to have to come up with a network marketing company for solar products. If there isn't one, there was one that started to go.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
I know one that they started, but so it's not, I don't know, just like anything else, it has to be innovated.
But you know what? Somebody's going to have to do it. And if they follow all the principles of the business success model, they will rock it, because that is the business of the future. And that's also another thing you'll learn in Money and You, how to be a futurist.
That feel like a challenge to me.
Well, maybe for somebody gorgeous named Nicola.
Oh, that feels like a challenge to me. I'm like, oh, let me talk, listen no more on Tuesday when I see you. Like, everybody know they're like, I am so much of a risk taker. I am.
Thank you, everyone. I really thank you for listening. And
it was awesome. So go ahead, email me, successwithnicola@gmail.com, and we'll get you the diagram of the business success model. And then, of course, with your enrollment, you can let me know too, right there in the same one. I need the scholarship. But I want you to go to moneyandyou.com first so you can understand the value of what you're about to be offered. Thank you, DC.
Thank you, everyone. Aloha.
Aloha.